Hello and welcome everybody. This is Igor Lebic, and on this channel, I'm sharing the knowledge that I've gained throughout the years of working in marketing, more specifically doing SEO. For this specific video, I decided to talk about Google Tag Manager, and this is because, first of all, this is a very powerful tool, and secondly, not a lot of people talk about it. So, if you're doing any kind of marketing, whether it's SEO or social media marketing or paid ads, I guarantee that if you learn how to use this tool, it's going to definitely benefit you. It's going to increase the value of your services or allow you to save money and time. So first off, I'm going to walk you through the tool in general and explain you what it does. And secondly, I'm going to show you how you can actually use this tool. And I will show you how you can set up custom conversion tracking on your website. For example, I made a test page here, and I'll show you how you can actually track when somebody submits a form or clicks a phone number of your website, or scrolls to the bottom of the page. So before we start, the question is, what is Google Tag Manager? What is its main purpose? Essentially, this is a tag management tool, well, basically tag manager. So what it means is, for example, if you have 5 different tags, and that would be, for example, Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel, maybe it's a call rail tracking code, maybe you have some other marketing software that you use and that you need to install a tracking code on your website. Instead of having all of those different tracking codes on your website, you can just install these 2 scripts, and then everything else can be managed from your dashboard. This is very comfortable and very beneficial because, first of all, it increases the load speed of your page. If you know JavaScript slows down the loading time, um, and having less this script tags on your site will actually make it load faster. Secondly, you can actually save money by using Google Tag Manager because you won't have to rely on developers. If you don't know much about web development, you might not be comfortable logging into the website and finding the right place where you have to add the code, and you might potentially make a mistake and break something. So if you don't use Tag Manager, you're gonna have to hire a developer who's gonna first of all charge you money, and you're gonna be completely reliant on that developer anytime you need to make a change or you have to add or delete something. So using Google Tag Manager will basically uh, set you free from developers and it will allow you to easily manage those scripts and tags yourself, even if you're not familiar with web development at all. The third benefit of using Google Tag Manager is just because it's very comfortable. Instead of having to log into your website every time and um, looking through the code and finding the script, and if you need to make a change, if you need to delete or update the script, all you have to do is just log in here and manage your scripts in here. So these are the benefits of the tool. And speaking of disadvantages, I actually can't even think of any. Honestly, this is a very great tool, very easy to learn, and I can't name a single disadvantage to that. So, how do you install Google Tag Manager on your website? When you're on your dashboard, you basically have to go to Google Tag Manager, then create account. I'm not gonna walk you through all these details because it's simple to do. There's really nothing complicated. Once you created an account, each account will receive these 2 tracking codes that you need to add to your website. And if you're even a little bit familiar with WordPress, how you log to your website, how you find these sections, then it shouldn't be a problem for you. But if you're completely not familiar with anything like that, I will show you right now how you should do it in case you have a WordPress website. If you're using a different CMS, you might want to look up information like how do I add script to the header of my website or to the body of my website, because according to Google's instructions, you need to add one code to the head of your website and the other one to the body. It's literally saying that here. So I'm using my website is built on WordPress, and there is this plugin called Code Snippets, and that allows me to add the scripts to the head of my website. So as you can see, the script is added here. You can see the tracking code is UA ending in 267. My mistake. This one ending in DGG. So this is the right tracking code. This is the one that I placed in the head long time ago. And this is the second code that you need to add to the body as the first element. So I have this option through this plugin. So I added this group here. So now it's installed on my website. And in order to test that it's actually working, that you put it in the right place, there's a preview option. So if you click preview, if you click preview, you're gonna see this pop up where you enter your website for a specific page on that website. You're gonna see that it's gonna try to connect to that website, and you should see Tag Assistant connected. That means that the script is actually installed correctly and everything is working fine. So now you can close this window and you can close this window too. So now you know that Google Tag Manager is on your website and it's working properly. Now, the basic idea. Now I'm gonna move to the next part and I'm gonna show you how to set up custom conversion tracking. So the first main idea, like I said, is to allow you to manage multiple tags on your website. But there is this other interesting application of Google Tag Manager where you can uh, track different user actions on your website that normally Google Analytics doesn't allow you. So Google Analytics normally allows you to track only certain events and, for example, visits of a certain page, but with the migration to Google Analytics 4, you don't even have that option. So by using Google Tag Manager, you can actually set up tracking of certain actions on your website. Uh, and normally, if you're a marketer, you should know your KPIs. It can be different actions. For example, it can be a form submission, phone number click. This can be somebody leaving their email. If you're collecting emails, it can be um, website purchase. It can be somebody downloading your PDF book, etc. So there are different KPIs, different actions on the website, and in this specific example, I'm going to be teaching you how you can track form submissions, phone number clicks, and I'm going to show you how you can track scrolls when users are scrolling your website. So the basic idea is that you have triggers and you have tags. So the trigger is basically an event on your website. For example, clicking on the phone number is an event. So in here, you will be creating an event basically saying, if this event happens, then the tag manager will fire a tag, quote unquote. This might seem confusing for now, but the basic idea is, if this happens, then do that. Very simple. If somebody submits a form, fire a tag. And then, but then the thing is that then Google Tag Manager doesn't really store information about these conversions. For example, it's not going to store information of when this was submitted, etc. So I'm going to show you that right now, and let's start by creating a trigger. So blah, 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 so now let's move on to the next part of the video. I'm going to show you how you can set up custom conversion tracking on your website. So that by custom conversion, I'm referring to tracking specific actions of the users on your website. If you, as a marketer, you should know your KPIs. That can be either phone number click. Um, So now let's move on to the next part of the video where I'm going to show you how you can set up custom conversion tracking on your website. By custom conversion tracking, I mean different actions that users take on your website. An action can be a form submission, a phone number click, scroll depth, video view, etc. So as a marketer, you probably know that bringing somebody to the website is not everything. You actually want them to convert, meaning you want them to take certain action. You want them to leave their email, maybe download a PDF, click the link, click the phone number, etc. So make the call, and you get the idea. So now we're gonna learn how to do that by using Google Tag Manager. The basic idea is you have triggers and tags. Triggers are events that happen. So phone number click is an event, scroll is an event, video view is an event. There's a lot of different events. So we're gonna be setting up the events that we want to track, and then we're gonna create a tag that's gonna be basically sending information to Google Analytics, and this is where the information is gonna be recorded and stored. So let's get started. You go to triggers and click new. Then you click on trigger configurations and you have a list here. So there are triggers connected to page views, related to page views. There are triggers related to clicks, user engagements, etc. There are basically different categories. So right now I'm gonna be setting up an event for form submissions. So there is actually a trigger for that. It's literally saying form submissions. You click here, and then now you have an option. You can either track all form submissions or only some. So for this example, I'm gonna use all forms, but just so you know, there's a lot of options how you can specify which exactly form you want to track. You can track forms only specific form, a form with a specific ID or class, etc. So we're gonna select all forms. I'm gonna name it form submission trigger and save. So now what basically we just did is so now what's going to happen is anytime somebody submits a form on your website, and now we're going to move into the next part, what is going to happen when somebody submits a form. So we're creating a tag. Here we have to select the trigger that we just created, form submission trigger. And now if this happens, what we're going to do. So I'm going to be sending this information to my Google Analytics account. So I'm going to select GA for event. The naming form submission stack, and what I'm going to also need is the measurement ID of my GA. I don't have that. If you're using Google Analytics 4, you can find your measurement ID by going to settings, data streams, and then you have it here. So I will click here, I will select configuration tag, manually set ID, and paste it here. The name will be the name of event that's going to actually appear on Google Analytics. So let's say form submissions and click save. Oops. I'm gonna have to do that again. Now I'm gonna create another tag for um, phone number clicks, and the way you track phone number clicks is basically you say anytime somebody clicks a link that contains TEL, which is a telephone number, which is how you set up a click to a phone number. Anytime that happens, then we're gonna track this event, right? So we're gonna go to triggers, create new, and we have we're going to be tracking a click. So we can select either all elements or just links. In this case, this is a link, so I'm going to select just links. Now we're going to have to specify that we're going to be tracking only specific links where click URL, meaning click URL is this part here, contains tell this. It's going to be phone clicks trigger. I'm going to create a tag for that. And we're also sending it to Google Analytics 4. Number clicks. And the third event we're going to track is scroll depth, which is very simple to do because there is an actual tag for that. Scroll depth, and all you have to do is select vertical scroll depth and specify the percentage. So let's say I want to track 80%. So when anybody scrolls 80% of the page depth at least, then it's gonna uh, fire the trigger. And we're gonna create tag for this one as well. Scroll depth 80. So now we have the triggers and tags. Now we have to click submit, publish. And now we're gonna move on to testing. So anytime you submit anything like that, you need to make sure you test it. So it's very easy to do. You just have to click preview, then paste this URL like before. And now we're gonna actually be making those actions. And in here on this page, you see a list of tags that I have, but you can see these are not fired. So now when I go to this page and when I, let's say, click on the phone number, what's going to happen is this tag that we created, which it's called phone number clicks, it's going to fire and it's going to move up here. So this is how you know that you have correctly set up the trigger and the tag. So let's see how it's working. Somebody's on my website, somebody clicks on the phone number, and you can see phone number clicks has fired, and it also actually triggered the outbound link clicks too, because outbound I have configured this to be click on any link that doesn't contain my domain, but I could fix this if I wanted to, and I'm gonna do it in this video. Next, we're gonna scroll to the very bottom, and this triggers the scroll depth 80 that we've set up. Lastly, I'm gonna submit the form. Thank you for your message, and now you should see form submission tag. So all of these three events have been configured correctly, and now basically anytime somebody does these actions on the website, this information will be recorded in my Google Analytics account. So this is pretty much it for this video. I could go more in depth and explain more about the triggers and tags and many more different options how you can use it, but I think for this tutorial it's going to be enough. What you've learned is what Google Tag Manager is, the benefits of using Google Tag Manager, and you've learned a very specific example how you can set up custom conversion tracking on your website. This is something that developers will charge you money. You'll have to, normally if you don't use Tag Manager, you'll have to hire a JavaScript developer, because basically this Tag Manager tool is basically operating using JavaScript, if that makes sense. And except it's a very simplified way to utilize JavaScript, because instead of knowing the language and knowing how to write everything, you can just click around and set it up like no problem. But if you're not using Tag Manager, you only have to pay money to developers to set up the event listeners and then add them to your website, and then you will have no control over this code because you don't know how it works. And anytime you need a change, you're gonna have to pay more and more money to developers. So this is what I mean. This is what I meant when I said Google Tag Manager will save you money. You are not reliant on developers, and you can create all these different event tracking on your website yourself. All you need to do is set up these two scripts and know a little bit of HTML, the very basics, the for element, the link element. Um, that's all you need to do. If there's something you don't know, you can always look it up. It's very easy. But like I said, this tool, Tag Manager, is perfect for marketers because a lot of times we're not developers. We don't really know the details of the code, and just clicking around you can set up all this cool tracking and get these valuable insights. So this is it for the tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I hope you have a great day.